It is the final day of the round of 16 ties in the UEFA Champions League. The last two quarterfinalists will be known this afternoon, and so we welcome you to SportsMax's continued coverage of the top European club competition. My name is Donald Oliver. Yesterday, two more quarterfinalists joined the fray. Manchester City did so emphatically with a 7-0 thumping of RB Leipzig at the Etihad to advance 8-1 on aggregate, while Porto and Inter drew 0-0, which meant Inter advanced on aggregate by a goal to 0. Now they have joined AC Milan, Bayern Munich, Benfica and Chelsea. Now today we have ties which heavily favour the home team. Real Madrid has a 5-2 advantage over Liverpool, and Napoli, they have a 2-0 lead over Eintracht Frankfurt, the current holders of the UEFA Europa League. Now time to welcome the team, and in studio Eric Rademacher is the only one here, technical director at the Kingston Football Academy and an assistant coach at local Premier League club Gans. And online we have Brent Sancho. Yeah, outstanding Trinidad and Tobago defender who played with the Soca Warriors at the 2006 World Cup. Gentlemen, about yesterday, controversy reigned. Man City in particular, they did beat RB Leipzig by 7-0, but Eric, the onslaught started with a very poor refereeing decision, we thought.
Yeah, I think it was about 20 minutes. They somewhat held them back, and then the referee was helping City to really get it started, but at some point City was unleashed and Haaland was unleashed, and then after a result like that, you can't really look back at those moments, and you just have to realize they couldn't bounce back from that first penalty, right away they concede the second one, and at the end of the day you're just being overwhelmed by a City who's much more dominant.
Brent, we see poor refereeing decisions all the time, but yesterday felt even more strange.
I've made a New Year's resolution not to say much about refereeing and VAR, so I won't.
You get smart.
I won't do that. I've been fingered here in Trinidad by many referees and even a season of.
That's unfortunate, Brent.
So yeah, that is unfortunate. I'm very sorry and I apologize. But no, you're correct. It was a horrible officiated decision. Up to today, I'm still baffled. I've looked at the highlights this morning again for that decision. What is strange and even compounds my curiosity to the decision is that there was VAR that called it in the first place. I think the referee, and even when you look at the expressions of the Manchester City, or of course the actions or non-actions of the City players, they didn't seem to think there was a penalty either. So that strange decision, and I even think the second goal as well, there may have been a bit of a foul on Haaland and charging the goalkeeper when he made his clearance. So even that and all could have been looked at. So 2 goals, I think, gave a helping hand towards a very, of course, City team that looked like they were destined to score more than what they scored yesterday. But I think the storyline really outside of those 2 officiated decisions.
But the flying kick as well. Remember the flying kick to me was another moment that I looked at yesterday as well in the evening, and I said, how is that now a free kick for
exactly.
for them, and a yellow card for complaining? It was a few really mistakes I think that should be looked into by those persons involved in that. But as we think we can all conclude, the match result is not because of that at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, gentlemen, we'll move on because eyes are on the Bernabeu today, which could be the home of a procession or a miracle. Real Madrid against Liverpool. Well, the story of the first leg is a complicated one. Liverpool in the early stages looked comfortable, but Real Madrid, probably with the help of a raised eyebrow from Carlo Ancelotti, who knows, came roaring back at Anfield.
Here's Salah, waiting to the right. Oh, and it's a flick by Nunez. Inside 4 minutes. Anfield goes wild. Oh, what a mistake. Salah there to pounce. An absolute gift for Liverpool from Thibaut Courtois. yes. Oh, right to reply there. Fed past Alisson. He's scored a goal out of absolutely nothing here. It is another mistake, a goalkeeping error of massive consequence. Can you believe we've seen it at both ends of the pitch? Sleep here, just fires it across, and it's headed in by Eder Militao, and they do lead 3-2. Could be in again here. It's not a hat-trick, of course. It's the chance for Benzema. Still Benzema. He plays to perfection. Valverde, Modric, Benzema. Absolute quality in this fella. You wouldn't want anybody else in that kind of position. You have to see it to believe it, really. A scoreline which reads incredibly. Liverpool 2, Real Madrid.
If the away goals rule was still in effect, we could call this one in favor of Real Madrid, but alas, no. So raise hands who thinks that there's going to be a miracle today. Starting with you, Eric.
I mean, I hope for one. You know, that is the excitement that you'll see in a game like this. Because if Real Madrid really takes control of this game, I think they will be able to manage the game in a way that might not be the most spectacular for the fans, but. No, it's one where Madrid is the heavy favorite, away goal rule or not.
You said you hope for one. Is it that you're a Liverpool supporter, Eric?
No, not at all. But you know, if it's not my side, I support Ajax. If it's not Ajax playing, then I will love an entertaining match. You know, this could be tactically, but a lot of time it's two teams who still have something to fight for. Because when one team is really in control, especially a dominant team like Madrid, they're very good at managing a game, and a lot of times that means for that particular team, kind of killing off the pace of the game, and that is often not the most attractive games that we watch.
Brent, are you expecting a turnaround?
No, I don't.
Wow, I think this is the first time that you're actually not on the fence, Brent. But go ahead.
No. This one. Look, I'll give you two really simple reasons. One is the game is being played at the Bernabeu. Second reason, Trent Alexander versus Vinny Jr. Those two reasons alone is going to suggest that there's no turnaround in this one.
All right, speaking about Vinny Jr., he seems to be the X factor here. How impressed have you been so far with him this season, Brent?
Look, you know, it's not long ago where I remember Karim Benzema making a statement, don't pass the ball to him. I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago. And now he is everything that I think when Real Madrid signed him, he would be, and and even more than that. I think he's easily heading to be one of and as Carlo Ancelotti said, one of the most decisive players in world football. What he brings to the table is something special. To me, he is a game changer, and he is everything that a Real Madrid top player or a player of legacy that has played for Real Madrid, leaves a legacy for Real Madrid is, and he's only still a very young boy.
Eric, I remember the early stages when all eyes were on Vinicius Jr. and there was a little impatience there, but all he needed was time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the talent was always there, but I think especially during last season, over the course of last season, he really became an effective winger. And that is what you need to stay at the highest level. You can't just be a player that looks nice and has potential. You need to at some point become effective and put numbers on the board, and he's been able to do so. I do think that as much as, you know, we say Madrid is the heavy favorite, Liverpool is a team out of all the teams in Europe that can do something crazy. You know, they've done it in the past. I mean, they did it the other day against Man United when they scored 7 goals. Right. It's not likely, but I do like to say Ajax, to bring it back to my side, a few years ago in Madrid, in Bernabeu, defeated them 3-1. And when I look at a similar game type that Liverpool can play than Ajax, and then you look even as a matchup, what we look at Vinny versus Alexander, you also have Salah versus Sancho. And I think if Salah really in form, he can also be very destructive on that side against Sancho. I don't want to say it's impossible, but it comes close to it. But if somebody can do it, I think if it's a Liverpool that catches that form with a Salah, with a Nunez, who knows what might happen.
But question, you're a coach. I mean, if you had a 3-goal advantage here, what would be your tactic heading into the second leg like this with the players that you do have at your disposal?
Well, here's the tricky part. It's Real Madrid. So even I think the last match, they're 2-0 down, but if there's one team that doesn't panic, it's Real Madrid. And if there's a competition for Real Madrid where they will not panic in those situations, it's the Champions League. So I think even in this match going in, they will play their own game. They will not be as aggressive as maybe you expect from a dominant team, but they will try to control the game. And if Liverpool by chance plays a high press, might win the ball, might score an early goal, they will continue to play their own game, looking for the moments to go forward and not really panic on that level, and most likely still catch up and become the dominant team that creates chances and gets goals.
Well, let's now hear from the English side, and in particular the Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp, who is slightly more optimistic this time around just before the second leg as he was at the end of the first leg. Let's hear from him.
I think 100% of the people think that we have no chance. And if I'm the only one who think we have a little, I'm fine. So we are the complete outsider for tomorrow, 100%. It's Real Madrid, they are 3-0 up. That's actually nothing you want for Christmas or whatever. You don't want this, but it's the situation now. And it's football, and we try to give it a go. That's all.
Yeah, he's right. About 100% of us, right?
They try to give it a go. Yeah, it's nice. Well, I wasn't expecting much else. It's about belief for him, and Klopp is one of the managers who's actually very good at putting a certain belief in players and in a group. So we'll see.
Brent, Liverpool since that first leg tie, they have beaten arch rivals Manchester United by 7-0, and then they lost 1-0 to relegation-threatened Bournemouth, which pretty much, I believe, sums up the season for them.
Yeah, sums up the season and sums up the problem that they have. I think one of the reasons why I don't think they have a chance in this game, although I agree with Eric, football has thrown up stranger results. I just think that the way their strength is also their weakness. For them to get back into this tie, they're going to have to throw numbers forward. They're going to have to play with their wing backs high, and they're going to have to play front foot football. And to that is also their downfall, playing against a Real Madrid team that is excellent against a team that plays that way. Again, we go to Vinny Jr., Rodrigo, Modric, etc., understands what they need to do in transition. And as much as you look at this and think, well, you know, football is such a romantic sport. No, it's not. You're going to get beat because you're going to push numbers up the park. You're going to try to go for it, and you're going to leave the back door open. And that's been the storyline for Liverpool and why they've lost football games, because teams have been able to beat them in transition.
Eric, that win over Man United, do you think that was a false positive in a sense? Because surely it wasn't the litmus test that you would look at and analyze and say, okay, Liverpool, they are dangerous and they will be dangerous against Real Madrid away.
I mean, I have no doubt that they will have dangerous moments, but I think the difference is also I've realized Man United was really a team, or maybe it still is in form. But Man United and Madrid is still a big difference in how they can control a day where they might not be the better team. So even if Liverpool has a great day, Madrid is able to nullify that, I think, much better than a Man United at this stage where those teams are.
Brent, we've seen this before, a Liverpool comeback. We're talking about the 2005 Champions League final against AC Milan, and we're talking about the 2019 second leg turnaround against Barcelona at Anfield. The difference is they're traveling. They're going on the road. The first one was just a one-off game. It was a final. The last time out, it was 2 legs, the second leg at home. So you're going for the Liverpool win, right?
No, not when you're going to the Bernabeu and you're talking about, and look, Eric hit the nail in the head. But for some reason, Real Madrid believes this is their competition. And they're never flustered. They never go into panic mode. They never make bad decisions. Very, very rarely. It's a competition they dominate simply because they understand it. They have a lot of experience within their locker room that understands what needs to be done. They could easily go 2-0 down and still be very comfortable, come out and win 4-2 because they're used to being in those sorts of situations. And as you rightfully said, yes, if it was at Anfield, maybe I may give it a bit of a wink eye, but it's not. And it's in Bernabeu. It's a tough place to go. And it's not necessarily a Liverpool team outside of that 7-0 win against Manchester United that has had a great season. They've not. So I don't expect, and I think the 7-0 against Manchester United is an anomaly. It's when every single thing went right. That doesn't happen in football every time.
Let's pose a more difficult question. The scoreline, Brent. What's the scoreline?
That's never a difficult question, my friend. I think that the game is probably going to end up 2 apiece. 2-2. Eric? Yeah.
I give it a 3-2 for Madrid.
You really are expecting to be close, right?
I mean, on this particular match, I don't expect Madrid to put down a big score there. As I said, they try to manage the game, make sure, even keep their players somewhat fresh, might even give some time to some of the players that have been eager in training. But as I say, it depends on how they manage the game, and I think we could maybe still see some goals.
All right, let's see. We'll take a break now, but on the other side of the intermission, we look ahead to our featured match and turn our attention to the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona as Napoli take on Eintracht Frankfurt at the top of the hour. Stay with us. Yeah, looking forward to this second leg at the top of the hour. Of course, Napoli with the advantage from the first leg, which saw them having 70% possession, 10 shots on target, as well as 2 goals. I know there was a red card shown to Eintracht Frankfurt's Randal Kolomuani, just shy of the hour mark. Here are the highlights from the first leg.
UEFA League champions Eintracht Frankfurt taking on Napoli, runaway Serie A leaders from Italy. Here's Lozano. Off the inside of the post and out.
Putin is just unaware that Osimhen's coming. He toes the ball and he's whacked and he's won a penalty kick.
But Shalia denied by Trapp.
Just trying to wind it into the side netting, but a full
card is going to be produced, and it's a red card. Randall Colomwani is off. Gisa, Marashalia once more. Beautifully finished by the skipper Di Lorenzo. They're up against 10 men, but that was a beautiful finish and a wonderful move. Napoli edging further in front. Luciano Spalletti's team have produced a magnificent display in Frankfurt against Eintracht. It's finished Eintracht 0, Napoli 2.
Napoli now, they're on the verge of a quarterfinal appearance in the UEFA Champions League for the first time. The question now is, gentlemen, starting with you, Brent, is this tie over?
Yeah, it is. Sorry for being so decisive in what I'm saying, but I just think it's a Napoli team that it's more than just a team that is getting through to the tie. They're a dark horse in this race for Champions League. I think they're genuine dark horse contenders outside of Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Manchester City. It's a team that no one wants to draw in the second leg, and I think the type of season that they're having, I just don't see them slipping up. And it's a difficult time for Frankfurt, but I just think with the Napoli team playing as well as they've been playing, I think this tie is over.
But question though, Eric, because Napoli, they're cruising in Serie A, I want to know how much weight that carries, especially when you're heading into the last stages of the Champions League.
Weight as in that it weighs heavy on them?
Or they are free?
I would say
the fact
at
that
this
they're
stage,
cruising.
yeah, at this stage in the competition, I think it's a weight off of their shoulders because they can really have the focus on here. But I think they're in such a groove that no matter what match it is right now, they'll be trying to keep that momentum going into this last part of the season where really you win the trophies. But going back to earlier, I was hoping, with the Liverpool match, how it turns out to keep it exciting. Napoli is one of those teams that I would always sit down for and watch it. Even if they are the dominant team, that the match is already over, once Napoli plays, they can still, with a lead, still play very attractive football. And it's definitely one of the teams, as was just mentioned, to look out for in not just this round, but next round and to see who can win it.
But it's about them also being high on confidence, the fact that they are cruising in Serie A.
Yeah, of course. It adds a little extra element to a team that might not be known for winning a lot. That we're a winning team and we get the acknowledgement from now already because the Serie A is in the pocket for them.
Brent, let's talk about Napoli's 1-2 punch. We're talking about Victor Osimhen and Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia. Are they the best duo in Europe, you think?
I think they're up there. Maybe, you could obviously add someone like Vinny Jr. and Benzema, just to name one or two names within there, but they certainly are. Look, I do think, and going back to what Eric was saying, when your team is in such a groove, as he mentioned, there's a lot of confidence in the locker room. You think whoever you play, you're going to win. Every single player is confident of the other player's ability, and they seem to pay a lot of attention to detail. That's why they play such attractive football. They work very hard to win the football back, and they throw numbers forward when they do have the football because they're a confident team. And I think with Osimhen up front, they have a genuine goal scorer, someone that they know can make something out of nothing. And as much as we talk about the dynamic duo, a lot is down to that guy up front. I was going to say I'd be very surprised if he stays, but then again, Napoli's president is probably one of the most difficult men to talk to in world football to make a trade, to make a seller or buy. So he probably will be there again. But that team has a lot of confidence in it. And of course, those two gentlemen plays a big role in bringing the confidence to Napoli.
I really like Kvaratskhelia in terms of what he brings out wide. A player from Georgia, not the state, the country. He has proven to be dynamite and has been the surprise package in this surprise package of a team. Yeah,
here we see him even with that touch again and just the awareness and then be able the technical ability to use that awareness to really set up goals and create those things. But to get back to it, Napoli last year, I think lost 3 or 4 of their best players. Defense Koulibaly, up top, I think it was Di Lorenzo. They lost the Belgian Mertens. They really lost a lot of quality, and for them to perform like this with players like this, it's really amazing to see how effective we see. As you say, Osimhen is really a great striker for this team. I would love to see how he performs at other teams in the future, but it's really somebody that makes it connect and actually gets a lot of goals on the board. It's not just fancy football because they have a finisher up top.
A couple of the players that you mentioned were older, but that adds to the point with the fact that they would have lost so much experience from last year and still perform at the highest level in Italy, Brent.
Yeah, it's really the sum of the parts. I think although they've lost a lot of experience, the total sum of the parts is working well for them. It's not, as much as we talk about Osimhen, I think that the team in total, well, is Rio and De Lorenzo as the wing backs approaching forward, and throughout the whole 1 through 11, and even the guys that come off of the bench, I think it's just always been about a great and solid team performance. They've not really been littered and glittered with individual brilliance that takes away from the team performance, but the team performance every single time is a good one, and I think that's why they're a dark horse, and that's why, as if I was a Bayern Munich, not a Liverpool, they're gone, Real Madrid in the competition, I wouldn't want to draw them in a hat in the next rounds.
I've never heard Brent so forthright about the results. Let's talk about Frankfurt. Frankfurt now, their leading scorer, Colomwani, was red carded in the first leg. They need goals. The question is, where are they going to get them from, Eric?
I mean, we were discussing it earlier. We see Rafael Borre, who was a striker. We remember him last year from the Europa League. Did very well for them, all the way up to the final. Was not just a goal scorer, but also somebody who could work with the team. So they put him back on top. I think this season he's been playing a little more behind Kolo Muani, so he's now pushed forward, and Kamara comes in behind, which I think we all remember from last year as well. So I think they still have their goals in them. It's just not as proven when it comes to this season. So whether they can find their form back against a team like Napoli in Italy will be a difficult task, but they do, somewhere in their memory, will remember how it is to score goals.
Yeah, they just need to remember, right, Brent, especially Daichi Kamado. He's the club's all-time top scorer in UEFA competition with 14 goals in 36 appearances, and he really needs to come to the party now.
Yeah, he does. When you look at, obviously, the Frankfurt, and I got this stat up, they've scored goals in Germany in the Bundesliga, and I find scoring quite easy there. It's just that they struggle in the Champions League. I think, however, as you guys mentioned, it's a tall ask. The funny thing is, both teams that have huge deficit are traveling away from home, and I think that as well is a major factor why I think this result is quite kind of similar to Real Madrid-Liverpool scenario. I think it'll be very difficult for Frankfurt to turn the thing around.
Yeah, the thing about Frankfurt is that they have been in inconsistent form in all competitions, Eric. They actually haven't scored a win since February 18. It's really going to be an uphill task for them.
Yeah, I'm expecting a very difficult match for Frankfurt, but seeing the team that they still are able to put out, I don't expect a complete walkover like how we saw yesterday with City, but it's near impossible. As I say, I wonder who have the more difficult task between Liverpool and Frankfurt, and it might just be Frankfurt, but both of them is a tall order today to fill.
And what kind of game are you anticipating, Brent?
I don't think Napoli has it within them to put the brakes and play conservative. So I don't think it'll be an open game from them in particular. I think they will obviously try to play the way that they normally play and how they have been playing throughout the entire season. So I expect it to be an entertaining one. Frankfurt, again, has to go for goals, have to try and create. So they are going to try to put numbers forward. So I think it would be a competitive game. It won't be dropped by any stretch of the imagination. But as I said, I just feel that what Napoli presents has been great all season, and I don't see that changing here today.
All right, let's take a look at the Napoli starting lineup now, and it is as expected. I expect them, as you said, Brent, to just try and express themselves at home. They're going to be pushed on by the crowd. They know that history is in the making, Eric. You expect them to still play that free-flowing football.
Yeah, I think at this stage, even the players that they have and how they go about, it's difficult for them not to play like that. And there's no reason for them not to play like that, because it is a team that I think leave gaps in transition when it comes to Frankfurt. So I think with Napoli, if they play their game and make sure that defensively they stay compact, they're able to play their game and put a win with it.
Your thoughts, Brent?
Yeah, I do think so. Obviously, Lozano is not in this starting lineup for Napoli, but yeah, I think they would play the same way they have a lot of the same points. Of course, Ria and De Lorenzo is a dangerous coming forward, and again, Osimhen is a threat and is a striker in great form. So yeah, I think they would try to stick to what they do best. There would be some sort of conversation within the locker room. Of course, being mindful of not exposing and leaving the back door open. That will certainly happen. But I think outside of that, I expect what we normally see from Napoli.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup for Eintracht Frankfurt now. We saw the 4-3-3 deployed by Napoli. I think Frankfurt will be going with a 3-4-3 formation here. And obviously, their intent is to try and start well. We see 4 at the back here. Your thoughts on this, Eric?
Yeah, I actually expect in this Knauf to be more as a right wing back and Lenz to be on the left side as more as a left wing back with a 3-man back line. Because Frankfurt, that's kind of their game, what they play with 2 wide players in Knauf and Lenz who go up and down.
So Lenz will be further up, you think?
Yeah, exactly. And Kamada will play more inside along with Götze around and kind of between the Bore and the other midfielders. So yeah, not really fully, but again, it's in the moments, in the phases of the game, so they might transition into this defensively. But when they attack, you're going to see Lenz push up a little bit more, Knauf keep it very wide, and you're going to see them attempt to bring in the balls from out wide for runs on Kamada and Bore.
Brent?
Yeah.
It's that time of the game in terms of prediction, but make known your thoughts there.
No, I was just going to say, to me, it's really about Bure, who's coming in now and has to lead the lines, and whether or not he can fill those shoes. It really comes down to that. And if he can, it may give him a bit of a chance. But if not, I think it's lights out for Frankfurt.
And with that, your predictions?
Napoli 2-1.
You're really going for close games here. Eric?
3-1 to Napoli.
3, that's more like it.
Give Bora 1 goal.
Well, the 4th largest stadium in Italy awaits us, and they are cheering on Gle Azzurri as we anticipate Napoli against Eintracht Frankfurt next.